Welcome to Gangneung, Korea. It's been a beautiful day and it's a beautiful evening here on the East Coast. In less than a year, we've returned to the home of curling for this year's Olympic Games. This week, the Gangneung Curling Centre is the host of the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2018. My name is Sander Lvog and I'm joined by curling expert and Olympic champion Rona Howe. Good evening.
Good evening, Sander.
For the feature game this evening in the men's session number 3, it's Korea taking on Australia. Teams just lining up for their introduction. Both teams have had their pre-game practice and should be quite ready for this matchup. At lead for Korea, Lee Dong-hyung. At second, we have Lee Dong-che. At third, Jong Byung-chin. And the team is kept by Kim So-hyuk. Can't see the lineups anymore. For Australia, at lead, Steve Johns. At second, we have Dustin Armstrong. Skip and throwing the third stones is Jay Merchant. And the youngest member of the team throwing the brick, the fourth stones, is Dean Hewitt. Taking a look at the standings and how the teams rack up so far. It's China and Japan undefeated at 2 wins. We'll see Australia sitting at 1-1. So is Korea. And while it's New Zealand, Kazakhstan and Qatar yet to pick up a win so far in this championship. Of course, there's a few other games out there this evening. Qatar will take on Hong Kong. New Zealand will play Kazakhstan. Chinese Taipei will play China, but our sole focus, our main focus anyway, is Korea, Australia. We will, of course, keep you updated on other scores as we go along. 4 exciting games this evening. Hopefully this will be the best battle out there. Any thoughts, Rona?
Yeah, both these teams are on 1-1 at the moment, so they're looking for their second win.
We'll see Korea playing the red stones. Australia will throw the yellow. Korea outdrawing Australia in the pre-game practice means they will have the last stone advantage. So it's lead for Australia, Steve Johns, to get us started. The veteran, 36 years played. Certainly knows where this stone should end up. You'll see the big finish in the ice here. Lots of curl. Ice conditions so far this week. Been absolutely brilliant.
Great shot.
And that's a good draw by Steve Johns. And we'll see Korea call the corner guard. So nothing too defensive here in the first end. As a lead for the Korean team. Lee Dong-hyung will look to place this in the free guard zone. It's good to see an aggressive approach early on.
Yeah, definitely. First end, get your corner guard up and try and generate a 2.
You see the broom placement from skip Kim So-hyuk, just edge of 4 and still making its way across the center line and to the side, just keeping that center open, trying to bring the play out to the wings.
And we saw earlier it's important to have the guards fairly close to the rings, because if they're too long, there's such a big swing in the ice that even if you're buried, it can still be got at.
5. Little tap. Do it. Let's do it. Around? No.
Looking for a tight guard here, but the sweeper's calling it heavy. So this seems to be slipping into the rings, so will not be protected by the free guard zone.
Good. That's fine, Steve.
One of many rules. It's a 5-stone free guard zone this season. All changed from last year. 6 ends to be played though. As usual, 38 minutes of thinking time per team and 1 60-second timeout. The game is scheduled for 10 ends though. And potentially an extra end as well.
Oh, yeah.
Looking to rattle a few yellow stones here. Maybe roll the shooter underneath the corner. Doesn't quite do that, but sits on top of that yellow stone in the white 8-foot circle. Let's have our first look at Dustin Armstrong. Spent a few years on the ice as well. Looking for the takeout on this red stone here. Just check over and sit too, but just barely spills out of the rings.
Nice shot.
And we'll see Korea just ignore that yellow stone in the house, come straight around the corner guard, and that is the task for Lee Jung-chae. Just 9 years curled, 22 years old. I'm sure he's played quite a few stones already though.
Yeah, this Korean team all train full time, so they're throwing a lot of stones together.
Certainly put a lot of effort into the curling discipline. Soon after they were awarded the Olympic Games.
Here we go, the other turn.
And China's doing the same now, leading up to the Olympic Games in 4 years in Beijing. Do you feel there's a slight Asian dominance perhaps on the cards for the curling world?
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. Well, when you see the depth of the, we were covering the Korean ladies earlier on, and it's a different team than we're here winning a silver medal at the Olympics, and there's another team competing. The depth in these Pacific Asian countries is fantastic.
Okay.
So your rest of the world are going to have to watch out.
We're slowly adding teams to this competition as well. Kazakhstan coming in some years ago. Qatar has made their way in. I'm sure we'll see this championship expand even further in the years coming. So now the takeout for Korea. Want to remove this yellow. Also try and roll towards the wing. Doesn't quite do that. We've seen lots of movement on the draws. But runs pretty straight on the upweights, but isn't that what curlers generally prefer?
Yeah, that's pretty good consistent ice. If they can get the swing with the draw and get behind cover, that's what they're kind of used to now, and it makes for far more exciting games. So you can actually play the game you want to and get behind cover. But yeah, with a wee bit ounce running weight, it is staying slightly straighter.
See Jay Merchant, one of the third stones for Team Australia. Dean Hewitt at the head with the broom, playing a softer takeout weight here, expecting it to curl a little bit, but not quite enough for the roll.
Yeah, Jay Merchant stays on the Gold Coast in Australia, so it'll be quite chilly for him on ice. He's not used to that, the heat they get there.
Still chasing that roll this time. There's Jung Byung-chin, also 22 years old. Just out of the juniors, really. So you see the directional sweeping, trying to make this curl, and it will move over, and that's a perfect roll. Both teams chasing that roll in behind the guards. Byung-chin ends up being the man who was able to do it.
Yeah, great result there. Does leave Australia the straight run back though, with theirs out front.
tight off the get-go there for Jay Merchant, and that over curls. Does, however, open up the red stone in the forfeit. Once a police officer of Queensland Police Service in Australia, now a criminal barrister.
Okay, there's not much crime in curling. Not be required.
There's a lot of stealing, Rona.
Sorry?
There's a lot of stealing going on.
Oh, well, now and again.
Not looking like a stolen end here, though. Australia not really having anything set up. Looking good for Korea, however, to maybe score 2 here.
Yeah, good distance between the 2 red stones.
So Dawson's there.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Hit and roll, hit it. There
Normal.
Double bit. Normal? Yep.
Sit in front of it.
Yeah, that's pretty similar to yours, Dustin, so yeah.
Dean Hewitt throwing the 4th stones for Australia. Played 3rd for many years in the juniors. And then played at the 2nd position for this team for a couple of years. Made his Pacific Asia debut playing the 4th stones last year, where they were so close to making it to the World Championship. Had the shot for the win in the bronze game, playing Japan's Morozumi. Couldn't quite pull it off. They'll be looking for a 2nd chance this week, as this shot's a bit of an in-between. So looking for the roll. A little thinner. The double was on, but just rolls over the top. And here we have the most experienced player on the Korean team, Kim So-hyuk. Played for 20 years. Played his first Pacific Asia Curling Championship back in 2001. And he's taken on 3 young guys, perhaps looking to guide them for an entire Olympic cycle. Not able to get fully buried here. But still sits 2.
Yeah, it should be close. Try and make the double. Okay. How much do we need to hit? Close to a 3rd. Okay.
Normal.
You're in. Normal.
So you can see enough to lift a double here.
Here comes. Yep. Yep. Yes.
Looking really close here. 1 and rolling over. Gets the 2nd one. Beautiful shot by Dean Hewitt. Gets Australia out of trouble in this first end. And there's a reason why he's throwing the 4th stones for Australia.
Yep, if he plays shots like that.
To put their faith in the young guy, and he delivers the goods.
Yeah, well, I mean, see what he does here.
Last one then for Kim So-hyuk and Korea. Looking for the blank here. Just hit that, roll out. No stones in the house means no score in the first end. Korea will retain the hammer for the 2nd.
마지막에 살짝 빨리 멈췄어. 그냥 아니 그냥 벤치라 계속 밀고 들어가서 됐을 것 같아요.
Great shot.
Korea and Australia back in action here, the second end in the Gangneung Curling Centre. Again, it's Australia to come into the house, Korea to throw the corner guard. What does those two choices tell you, Rona?
Yep, so right now Korea wanting to put their corner guard up again. At the last end they very nearly did get their two if Hewitt hadn't lifted a fantastic double. So they'll just repeat that. They'll just try and generate a couple here, whereas Australia are saying, well, do you know what, you've got last stone, I'll force you to your one, and then I'll take two when I've got the hammer. So both of them have got a different agenda here, and that's where the stone placement from Leeds is so important.
Touch more than last, I think. I think we're all there. 5, 4, 5.
Steve Johns just slipped into the rings on his second stone in the first end, looking for the guard. This time again, he's looking for this to be just short of the rings, to sit in that free guard zone, protected. Weight seems pretty good. Now just a bit worried it might over curl. You see the losing its handle a bit. So when the rotation comes off the stone, they tend to move quite a bit sideways.
Yep, especially on this really swingy ice, it's quite difficult to get your guard in exactly the right place.
Korea then chasing that stone in the forefit. Able to see a good chunk of it. Very weight sensitive, the ice, though. Can't overplay this one. He won't get that bend around. But that is a very good shot. Perfect weight control. A hit and stick.
Normal. Normal up. Looks firm. Normal up. Looks firm. Yeah. Stop. Okay.
Maybe a bit of an overthrow by Dustin Armstrong as Kim So-hyuk goes down.
One way to get your opposition down.
It is slippery out there. Even the pros has a tumble now and again.
That hit and roll out now from Australia, it gives Korea the opportunity to use the guard, get a counter in behind.
좀 잡아줘. 라인 좀 잡아줘. 타이트 라인 좀 잡아줘.
가서 7.
타이트.
라인맨.
웨이트 봐.
웨이트 굿. 라인맨.
타이트.
웨이트 굿.
계속 와 타이트.
Slight over curl there, but finds its well fit to sit one.
Just about come out the other side of the guard.
Let's peek over on sheet C. It's New Zealand taking on Kazakhstan, and it's the last stone for the Kazakhs. Big weight. Looking to make a run of sorts, but it spills through the house. And that is a steal of 2 for New Zealand. Good start for the Kiwis. Another update, sheet D, it's Chinese Taipei taking on China. Last stone for Soja. Looking very much in control here. Just a hit and stick. And that is 2 points on the board for the Chinese. 2-0 after one end.
여섯. 웨이트 괜찮으면 조금만 기다려줘.
A mistake by Australia. On our sheet, and Korea can come around this corner once more.
얘보다 위에서.
Yeah, really good shot, much better line.
Now what do you do if you're Australia? Hard to get to, those reds.
On this is just peeling it, right?
Yeah. I mean, what do you want? Center guard, but if you can hit
A little bit less.
4/5 low side,
Yeah.
hit all three.
We gotta peel it. And if we run it back, we run it back.
Yeah. Shot for three. For all three.
Huh?
Just cross the face, roll to the center. Call?
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll just peel late and
Big lift from Jay Merchant. You don't see that too often anymore. Throwing the heat here. Want to run this guard back, maybe catch a red. Maybe roll the shooters to the center line, but catches it a bit too thin.
just a fraction inside. Okay? Fraction inside.
Nearly got it back out there. But
Well, I tried to get it back out there. Okay, the good thing is those are staggered.
Yeah,
The guy can pound it.
셋, 넷, 라인만 봐요, 라인만.
라인 좋아.
넷, 셋, 넷.
기다려줘.
So Korea just happy to guard the two counters in the house. The double is on them, so they're happy just to keep guarding.
좀만 더 돌려봐. 가까워.
It's a good guard. It's a bit further up, so slightly easier for Australia to run in.
Here's the coach for Team Korea, Lee Jae-ho. It's a bit nippy in the arena, so for the players, quite comfortable. You'll be sweeping up and down the ice, but sitting on the bench, good to keep a good winter coat on. Another attempt for Jay Merchant, running this corner guard back. Might have overcompensated this time. Catches the outside.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So far, Korea quite happy to keep guarding these reds, knowing it's a fairly straightforward double on those.
셋, 좋아. 여기.
Line good.
불도다 대시 좋아. 그래가 계속 밀고 와.
내 거.
동현이가. 라인 좋아지고 있어. 계속 와줘.
라인 좋아.
좀만 더.
오케이. 자.
That was a good guard.
얘는 보여도 뭐 없어.
Kind of
I
think
like
one
that.
more.
Yeah, I do.
I think one more here. One more time.
Jay Merchant has tried twice. We'll see if third time's a charm. First attempt for Dean Hewitt to run this back. One more time, he says. And if this one's not made, might see a different call on the last one.
Yep. Okay, just peel it.
Oh, a bit tight on the broom here by Hewitt. Runs it past the Reds as well.
One of these days we'll get out there.
Hey?
Yeah, good.
What's that?
It's good.
I think Korea will want to put their third counter in now into the rings.
No.
They'll be quite happy to leave that double if they've got another counter.
얘네들 어차피 건드려야 돼. 과감하게 커머라도 못 들어올 거야. 그거 세 개인데.
사이드 나쁘지 않은 것 같아.
사이드로 가자.
더블각 나오면 안 돼, 알겠지?
네.
위에.
일곱.
위에 바이트라도 들어가기만 하면 될 것 같아. 뒤로만 가지 말자.
Worried about coming around the yellow center guard. Doesn't want to leave a potential triple on the red, so just drawing to the opposite wing, keeping some separation.
가드 잘 쓰면 좋긴 할 것 같아. 근데 이것도 괜찮아. 그냥 두 개 먹는다는 느낌.
가드는
하나 더까지 괜찮을 것 같아요.
무난하게 두 개 딸 수 있어.
그냥 욕심내지 말자.
The obvious bailout shot for Australia is to play that double and make the perfect roll in behind the center guard, but I think Kim So-hyuk is just going to leave them that. Hoping it's not made perfect.
일곱.
열!
른.
네.
많이 가!
확실하게 오면 돼.
라인 괜찮아. 웨이트만 봐줘.
왜 좋아? 여기야, 여기 1번 여기.
도영아.
여기보단 더 가까워.
Almost on the center guard here.
여기까지 오자.
Just curls enough to go past.
Nice.
A little bit deep, so just bringing this one even deeper. Not to leave an angle for a triple takeout. Well, the call is quite automatic for Jay Merchant and Dean Hewitt.
구하면 될 것 같은데?
Yeah. Just a little low side with peel.
Like that?
That'll be close.
He was able to bail them out in the first end, Dean Hewitt.
If we can
We'll see
double
if he
and
is
roll
able
with
to
Peel.
do it once
Peel.
more.
Similar kind
It's
of
very
line,
similar line.
so should be pretty close.
Even if you don't make the perfect roll in behind the guard here, you might roll across the house and sit in front of that red stone in the back. A couple of options.
Whoa! Whoa!
Roll it, Dustin. Okay.
Doesn't quite get to the inside, so sit right there in the open. Second shot. That is just a draw now for two for Kim So-hyuk.
Yeah, it was just a fraction more, right? Threw it really nice. Beautiful throw.
Should be pretty straightforward for a skip to hit the 8-foot, Drona.
You would think so. As we say, it's a bread and butter shot for a skip. These open draws make the difference to the scoreboard. They've played all in to get your two. And he played a draw with his first, so he should be comfortable what the weight is.
Shot.
Perfect.
Sweeper's delight as that settles down in the back four on its own. 2 points for the Koreans. And that is a 2-0 game after 2 ends of play here in the Gangneung Curling Center.
Hey. Hey. Hey.
Yeah. Speed's really nice up here.
Yeah, speed's great, guys.
Can carry it quite a long way as well. So that last one he threw was an 80.
That sounds
Yeah,
right.
he was hard.
라인 좋아.
일곱.
살려오자.
라인 좋아, 라인 좋아. 여덟.
얘들아, 조금만 더 와줘. 1번은 들어와야 돼. 계속 와줘.
조금만 더 정지.
좀만 더 와줘, 좀 더. 아직 사이드 좀 죽으니까.
Korea scores 2 in the second end. So now it's Australia with the last stone advantage. So Korea coming into the house. It's Australia to throw the corner guard.
3, 2, 3, 2, 3.
Where?
2, 3.
Little bit. Don't clean it, guys.
2, 3, 3.
Okay, not much handle.
Yeah, you can see not a lot of rotation on this rock from
Over and stop,
Steve
guys.
Johns.
It's gonna dive. It's diving.
And it's going to curl quite a bit.
Okay, good.
Okay.
But it still ends up in a useful spot.
Yep, still usable as a corner guard.
여덟.
어?
여덟.
잠깐만 기다리자.
일곱. 여섯. 있어요. 일곱.
룸이야.
여섯. 일곱. 여덟. 일곱. 여섯.
바꾸자.
위에서.
다섯.
아니야, 기다려줘.
여섯. 들어가요.
알았어.
들어가.
최대한 기다려. 화이트 괜찮아.
샷.
동영아, 틀려도 괜찮으니까 두 개 다 똑같이 던져주는 게 나아.
Touch less.
Where?
2.
Another corner guard called by Australia here.
2.
Dustin. Yep.
Not happy enough for the first one there.
No, they want another one. They obviously want to make sure they do score several at this end, or put themselves in a position to.
Good.
Sibo.
Nice DB we got there.
Good BB.
Two staggered corners.
Great.
Certainly
Stay,
enough
Greg.
room to get in behind there, but they'll allow Korea to throw a guard on the red stones.
센터.
In the top 12, top 8. Maybe Australia not thinking they're not too threatening there. Not perfectly on line and not even in the forefoot.
No, they're not touching the forefoot, although they are blocking the way to the forefoot. With the new 5-rock rule, it's an opportunity to get that other guard up and just hopefully you can take advantage of it.
셋 가자. 셋. 둘 셋. 셋.
동영아, 조금만 더 있네.
둘 셋. 라인 좋아.
조금만 더. 계속 와줘. 웨이트는.
샷.
웨이트나, 웨이트는 앞뒤로 가자, 앞뒤로.
So quite a long guard, but the position of it's good
I don't mind this.
for
We
line.
run it and get a corner.
You want to do that?
Yeah, and roll this way. No, other way. So then we get the double.
You don't think Australia could come round at a tap back weight and try and get a roll behind their
Either way,
corner?
really.
Certainly do that. But Australia sticking to the run back. Haven't been too successful with those
Just
so far in the game.
Okay.
But then again,
All right.
Dustin Armstrong should have a go as well.
Absolutely. It's like, you guys had a shot the last time. I want one. I'll show you how it's done.
Off ours.
Yep.
Yes!
So removes the guard but doesn't run back.
Okay.
Now got 3 corner guards.
Too early to go straight under.
Let's jump over to sheet D. Chinese Taipei with last stone. Throwing against a bundle of China yellows. It's Randy Shen with the outturn.
Oh, Wolf can.
T-line, straight draw.
Room.
Stay with it.
Sweepers backing off this one for Chinese Taipei. urging this to grow some teeth and settle down. Just slightly wide, slightly heavy, and slips off that yellow. That's a steal of 1 for China, as they are now 3 up on Chinese Taipei. Moving over to Sheet C, New Zealand playing Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I like it.
Abilai Kanshosbai. A little bit of a speed wobble there. Just throwing the in-turn draw, looking to score a single point. Sweeper's not panicking quite yet. Starting to make a move on them though. About to lose the line, needs to outcount that red stone, biting the button. Well, tapped back just enough, and that is 1 point for Kazakhstan as they trail the Kiwis by 1 after 2.
Okay.
Back on our sheet, there's quite a few yellows accumulating outside the house.
Well, they wanted corner guards, so they've got them. Just need to use them now. There was a good raise of the front guard into the one in the house there from Australia. Clears things up a wee bit.
라인만 봐요. 라인 르미야. 좀 죽고 있어. 좀 죽고 있어. 여덟.
Korea looking to throw the guard. Sweeper's just calling it a bit heavy. Kim So-hyuk thinking maybe we can bring it around the red stone instead. It just kind of ends up in the middle.
There's no way that if we do this, it'll do that.
Well, you will get that.
How far will it move though?
That's probably not much. I don't think that's very much. Here, if you're lucky.
Okay, so you want to do that? Like I could throw, I could throw a belter.
Yeah, and you can push that to here or something.
Yeah, and then it's still open,
Yeah, exactly.
and then we
Come
open
around.
that.
Yep,
You
I don't
know
mind
what
that.
Okay.
Feel?
I think so.
What's the plan here?
Definitely try and get it to center line side, eh?
Well, it was going to throw a
try and,
belter, so
get
I
it,
presume that
catch the
means
back
he's
end of
going to
that.
throw quite a big weight.
Should get a little bit of movement. But,
I think it's just sticking
and
there,
it'll, it'll move things off the center line. So.
He's wanting to spread both these stones about, try and catch the top one.
All right.
They looked at hitting the one that you can see the brushes on at the moment and come off the back of it. But he is hoping to just nick both of these reds and move them about.
Want it out? Okay.
No. It goes the other way.
I don't know, but if it was hanging.
So he didn't get the roll he was looking for. Caught it a bit thick. But if Korea hit that one on the nose now, it's really blocking the way in for Australia. They've got all their guards there in place, but they need to be able to use them.
와우! 동영아!
Just rolls a bit to the side.
지금 안 도니까 매트는 괜찮았지. 그거보다 더 센 매트였으면 나갔을 것 같아.
Here or here?
With the whole house to roll to, so we can play it pretty.
Yep, there's plenty of space here for Australia to roll over.
Opens it up.
Whatever you like. I mean, if they know,
Well, I guess what it does do if we play that, it takes it off the center line,
Yeah.
right? So, what are we thinking
I
for
like
a
the
weight?
center. It opens it up.
yeah. Play double.
Yep.
Big
Like
deal.
that?
Yeah, so they discussed hitting the winger and rolling right over to get something behind cover. And now they're thinking if they take this one, it opens up the centre for his last stone.
Just normal up.
But it's going to be harder to generate a 2 at the moment anyway by doing this.
I don't think it'll move much.
No.
Fraction less.
Whoa.
Off, Steve. Off.
Whoa. Close. Whoa. Whoa. Okay.
Just a tad too thin there from Merchant.
So close.
So close, but yet so far.
All right, well, at least it opens the center up.
Yeah, I've opened the centre up for you.
It's coming back there.
Yeah, it was coming back nice. It's just, you know, and they do stay straight there too, you know. So, but I didn't want to get too cute with it either because then it just buries. So.
No, I think once you start crossing center here, it moves a fraction more.
Yeah.
Korea lining one. A chance to play a draw here, come around that yellow center guard or just off the center line guard.
라인 괜찮아, 라인 괜찮아.
병진이가 오자.
병진이가 가야 될 것 같아.
병진이가 오자.
병진아.
티.
병진아 돌려야 돼. 병진아 돌려야 돼.
야, 킥. 병진 와.
병진아 가, 괜찮아.
좀만 더. 오케이.
Very nice draw.
Nice shot. Just on the tee line.
너무 하게 잡나?
여유 있었던 거.
잡아도 될것 같지?
근데 지금 we do that?
I think so.
Little bump is fine.
Just throw draw and then we bump in case.
That's right.
Just slightly high side corner freeze. Tap it a couple inches is great too. They're right on the tee line, so. What are we thinking through here? 90, 95 or?
He's tired there. Dean Hewitt making sure that he knows what weight the ice is running at down here. Confirming with these sweepers.
Where is
Looking
it?
for a draw, a freeze, or even just a little bump here. Sit on top of that red stone played by Kim So-hyuk, but this one is sailing. And it's going to sail past the short stone and potentially all the way through the house.
Sit down.
Sorry guys.
Okay.
Just hanging on to the paint, but Korea is sitting too. And I'll have a freebie to come around that guard again.
Yeah.
Line was good.
Oh, line was perfect. You threw it great. Threw it really good.
여기보다는 안으로 친다. 아이 돌려서 안쪽으로
Two options discussed by Korea here. Either just come straight on top of that red and sit buried, or maybe just throw it on the center line, top 12, top 8, try and take away the path to the button for Australia.
Yeah, freeze looks good to come right in and lie buried, but then the button's open.
그것도 괜찮아. 그것도 괜찮은데 1번이
So if he wants to cause a big problem to Australia, if he finishes in that centre line, it makes the draw a lot harder.
몇초 나왔어 아까?
Taking very similar ice to the first throw, so assuming they might be coming around again behind the guard.
조금만 죽이자.
아 여덟.
Just saw Dean Hewitt slip to the very back of the house, so maybe they just want to shrink the scoring area here and say, well, the button's going to be open, but you're going to have to hit it.
여기만 오면 돼. 수지로 갈게. 좋아. 여기로 와.
Sweeping for curl here, trying to get this buried. That is a very good draw by Kim So-hyuk. Good sweep, exactly where they wanted that one. They're going to tell Dean Hewitt, well, here you go. Try again. And if you miss the forfeit, that's a steal of 2.
아, 괜찮아. 플랜 B야. 좀 죽이니까 더 많이 돌았지.
90.
He's taking a wee bit wider ice than his last draw because he's got really the button that he wants to finish on.
What are you thinking?
I like
That's
it.
the one for Dean Hewitt and Team Australia. Down by 2.
Mine's good.
Drawing against 3.
Right only.
Quite a key shot here to keep them in the game.
Check. Keep checking.
Steve Johns, Dustin Armstrong on the sweep, trying to drag this far enough, looking really close. Even Merchant with a few strokes. As this will settle very nicely on the button. Beautiful draw by Dean Hewitt under pressure. Is able to adjust from that first throw. That is 1 point for Australia. It's a 2-1 game for Korea after 3 ends of play.
That was good.
Nice weight through there.
So for the record, it was an 85.
Yeah.
8-5. Good.
All right. We're up. I think we got to go tight.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I like it.
You like that?
Who doesn't?
Like that?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll let you say that. Yep, looks a little light. Just check it.
2, 3, 3. Mine, 3. Mine.
You just cross here.
I don't know why he's talking to me.
Okay. Okay. Otherwise it's going to curl too much. Yeah. Good.
Welcome back in action here. 4th end of the Korea-Australia game in session number 3 of the men's competition here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2018.
Yeah, and check, and this is lock.
well, we can get, if we want to call a technical timeout, we can get it checked out or whatever, but
Maybe after and
okay, let's do it. It's fine. They're just, well, yeah. No, there was just a question. It
불이 안
wasn't anything.
들어왔는데
It's more of a query
지금은
about the
뭐
lights
크게-
on that number 1, so.
크게 불이 안 들어왔다고 얘기한 거고 지금 호그라인 파워로 한 거 같지는 않으니까 끝나고 난 뒤에 락 체크만 한번 다시 해주시면 돼요.
So after, we'll check it after. Well, he was. He was.
이쪽으로 할게.
Seems to be just a question of the eye on the hog technology of the rock is working properly for Steve Johns' first stone. Kim So-hyuk didn't want to take advantage and take the stone off, but just telling Australia that they should maybe check that stone,
웨이 좋아요.
라인 괜찮아.
because if it's not working properly, then Steve Johns can be hogging all over the place for this game.
아 라인 좋아.
Don't think he is though. But just want to check it.
불이 안 들어온 거잖아.
So they stopped the time clocks for both teams for that discussion. And now we've continued. Korea throws the corner guard. Slightly different approach to this end. Australia throwing the centre guard this time instead of coming into the rings.
12, top 8.
How come?
Yeah.
Yep, they're called the centre guard. Now they're going to come round it. They want to try and force Korea or get a steal here.
Where is it?
What you have?
5. But
Steve Johns was well short of the hog line there at release, so there's no problem with him being close to the hog
okay,
line.
now go. Yep. Hard. Yep. Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. There.
So they're
That's
happy
good.
to put up another centre guard.
Probably looking to bring it into the house, but now 2 centre guards at least going to bring some play to the centre line.
Yep, aired on the right side anyway, which is always important.
Lee Dong-hyung enjoying a good start
아, 라인 괜찮아. 웨이트 한 번.
to this evening's game. They'll ignore those yellow stones. Come around their corner guard.
정지야, 많이 와야 돼.
좀만 더.
아유, 정지야, 화이트 치게 주지 말고 많이 숨겨야 돼. 숨겨야 돼, 더 와야 돼.
끝까지 가자. 라인
끝까지
좋아져.
와야 돼.
라인 좋아.
끝까지 와야 돼. 더 와야 돼, 더.
Shot.
Yep, good draw around the corner. It's buried. Australia won't be able to see any of that. You can see there, it's perfectly behind the corner guard.
Yeah, we can. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
good,
mind
too.
it. I like that.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, let's do it. What are you guys thinking here?
Just draw shot challenge.
Yeah, initially, Merchant
just a
was
draw
looking
shot
to
challenge, eh?
come in and freeze that red, but now changed his mind.
Yeah,
Let's use
all
the
right, I can give you there. What is that?
centre guards that we have up and try and come around them.
Yep, certainly lots of cover.
A little up.
85. Where?
Full 5. Watch fine, boys.
It's gonna be lighter. A lot of room. Gotta go.
Yes, hard.
Yep.
Come on, boys.
Hard.
All the way.
Hard, guys.
All the way. Hard. Hard.
Okay, stick. Yep.
Keep going. All the way.
Right there.
Good.
Bit of a rub and roll. Lost that one halfway down.
It's good. How's that inflection? Yeah, I must have just.
Yeah, they said it was 85, and that's what they said that Lean Hewitt played at the last end for his draw to the button. So just going a wee bit wider there. A piece of ice, they haven't really been down much.
Now the clean-up job for Team Korea. A lot of yellows along the centre line. Gonna try and open this up.
예스! 계속 와. 슈터가. 더.
Gets 2 yellows moving. It's a pretty good shot there. Leaves a lot of corner guards. Leaves the centre line open. And that yellow stone on the top 12 foot exposed.
Yeah, that was a really good result there.
Do that.
So come there, putting thumbs up. He's happy with that one.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, I like that. Yep.
And if we still so early.
Not much more weight, eh?
No, less.
It's a fair bit less ice, guys.
Sorry, same weight. Touch more.
7. 8.
Oh. You could go around, but it's already deep. Sweep for a round. Yep. All the way. Okay, we'll
Split then,
over.
split.
A
Over.
little heavy here from Dustin Armstrong. You could hear Steve Johns say,
Okay.
maybe we should go around, but that call comes a bit too late.
Okay, that's fine.
Ends up splitting their own.
Yep, it's an easier shot now for Korea to head and roll off this.
야!
Get another one behind cover.
야! 병신! 병신 고!
Yep, played that really nicely. Australia need to be careful here. They don't have last stone. Korea are building up. Plenty shots behind the corner guards.
With this much weight?
We're going that. Okay.
Well, I'm just thinking if you have to get it to here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That looks
so.
pretty good.
Yep.
So essentially, just there.
Yeah.
And if it curls too much, we can keep it straight. Okay.
I
So you're
quite just
thinking
like the
back
dead draw
eight,
round
back
these
12?
reds
I think
to
so.
that
Okay.
one that's on the tee line.
Yeah, I was thinking
Back 8,
the
back
same.
12.
Might be easier to just
Just a gentle
play the
bump.
draw
Just
instead of the
yeah.
angled tap.
And if it curls too much, we'll just take it back.
It's a very difficult angle to push the yellow
So
back.
what are we thinking for, you thinking like in back 8, 75?
80.
80?
80 will still do
80.
it. 75, 80.
Okay.
Touchdown.
Where is it? Yep, touchdown, yes!
Weight's good.
Line's
Yes!
good.
Yes! Whoa!
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 Here it comes.
Just a piece.
Whoa, whoa,
Just a piece.
Whoa!
Just a piece.
Whoa! My fault.
Whoa!
Dean Hewitt takes responsibility there. All over sweep on the line. Needed to catch a bigger chunk of that yellow to tap it onto that red behind the corner guards.
I got a 56 on it.
Good throw.
What'd you get?
I was just judging.
That leaves Korea with a chance to lie 3. If they can even make the roll in behind cover, that's going to make it very hard for Australia. If they don't make the roll, though, it might leave a double for the Australians. But of course, the roll is spot on. Korea playing really well.
Shot.
Yeah, they've played a lot of lovely rolls today.
Let's peek over. That's China playing Chinese Taipei on sheet D. Yet to score, Randy Shen and Chinese Taipei. Another chance here.
Okay, well,
Easy.
Sweepers backing off this one.
corner freeze and get short.
No, don't touch it. It's T-line, 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 T-line.
Starting to come down now, though.
Yeah, hard.
Sweepers on it to make sure it gets there.
Okay,
Sweat you guys.
throw. One red.
Beautiful draw by Randy Shen, and that is 1 point for Chinese Taipei. Still trailing, though, by 2. As we come back to our sheet, Jay Merchant with the run back. Tried a few in this very spot 2 ends ago. Didn't quite come off for them. Maybe they've found a line this time as they run this one back. Makes contact. Would love to have rolled a bit further in between those reds, but that's still a very good shot by Merchant.
No. Out. No.
If that ever rolls a couple of feet more, it would have been absolutely perfect. That's why they were sweeping. Wanted to catch that red slightly thinner to jump across.
It's a great shot, but it could have been even greater if he just got that bigger roll. However, can Korea get another hit and roll here?
Over curl. Still sits 3. See what they've left here now for Australia. Looking to come off the wide red.
Real straight, I think. Yeah. We need like a third of a rock.
Few options there come off that one.
Going out turn. Yep.
Make it double on the top 2 reds. Maybe even tap that third one back a bit. Try and sit there and behind cover. Need to throw quite a bit of weight here, though. Coming off the wide one, needing to punch the second red almost across the whole house. So we've seen the houses be quite keen. Stone's quite lively. You can definitely get some action off of them. Needs to catch this in the right spot. Actually is able to touch all three reds.
Good.
Makes two go away. That seemed to jump on them a wee bit. Caught them off guard. Very close to that guard, in fact.
The line there is nice, so that was a great shot. Like, just right at the end, it just...
I just heard it. I didn't hear that.
Like,
The yellow's not completely buried. Does allow Korea a chance just to tap it back and still lie two.
The three seems to be out of the picture now, though, with that double by Dean Hewitt.
Yeah, Dean Hewitt's had to do quite a lot of demolition of granite so far in this game.
Yeah, not too much having been set up for him so far.
Whoa! Whoa! 그냥. 헐! 더 와야 돼.
We'll make the nose hit and sit two.
Say.
How do you play the slash double? Seems to be the call.
아, 병신의 두 번째 샷이 너무 아까운데. 아, 3점은 따겠다 했어.
Nothing kills an end like a few doubles from your skipper.
Kind of like a third of a rock. It's fairly thin.
Half a rock or something like that.
More like a third. It's pretty thin. Peel.
Always a bit awkward to throw these thin peels, knowing if you're just slightly outside, you go past everything.
Yep.
It's an open draw for three.
Yep.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Yep!
Must be close.
1 and 2, and look at that spin out the house, Jay Merchant. With a little bit of sweeping. What a great shot by Dean Hewitt. Was able to keep Australia in this game. Two doubles back to back, taking the end away from Korea.
did a bit there, but it was
Looking like they were going to score three. Then came the skip rocks. A couple beauties. And problem solved.
Nice shot, Dean.
Yeah, Korea really controlled this whole end. Looking like they were going to score multiple.
Sorry, yes, Ian would have stuck around.
And Korea haven't done much wrong, to be fair. Just two great shots from Dean Hewitt.
Another blank on the boards. Kim So-hyuk just throwing his last stone through, rather keep the last stone advantage. So the score remains the same. Korea 2, Australia 1.
Still like short?
I think so. I think so. Okay, here we go. All right, keep up the pace here. Sorry. It was your first one.
here.
Coming down. You're good. A little bit. You can go a little.
Yep, yep, yep.
Shot, Steve.
Okay.
Did we get the time back? 15 seconds back? I don't want the clock to run at all.
It is Korea up 2-1 over Australia here on sheet Bravo, sheet B, the Gangneung Curling Centre. Same venue where we had the Olympic Games for curling, hosted just 8 months ago.
Yep, certainly raised the profile of the sport in Korea.
Feels a bit special for the players to come here and play, especially if they weren't participating themselves. Olympic venue and all.
Yeah, definitely.
Watch it on TV, then you get to come here. It looks quite the same as it did back in February. And it's been a bit of a tourist attraction, I've heard as well. They've kept the ice in, and busloads of people come up here. They get to throw a rock, where the famous Korean women's team, they got the silver medals, skipped by Kim Won-jung.
Okay, whoa. Good sweep.
It's an attraction for sure.
Okay. Good.
A multi-purpose venue, really, gymnasium. But they have put ice in for it on a couple of occasions. Also hosted the Women's World Championship back a while. I believe the only pre-existing arena for the Pyeongchang Olympics. Over curls Rex on the guard, but doesn't remove it from play, so no violation of the free guard zone. Actually keeps the center line open, and a bunch of corner guards again for the Koreans. As we just take a look across the sheets here, and we see the scores: Hong Kong up 5-1 on Qatar, Kazakhstan up 5-2 playing New Zealand, and China is very much in control so far, playing Chinese Taipei 5-1. Still quite close in our game though. Korea have seemed quite dominant, but Australia, they're just
Yeah, now go. Gotta go for the line.
keeping in there so far.
We're there. We're there.
All the way.
We're there.
Go, 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 go. Nice rock. Yeah. Hey, Dean.
Still haven't had time yet.
Huh?
We still haven't had time for us yet. Counting down straight away.
Very balanced coming out the hack here. With that big thrust. A little bit unlucky to stuff that in the forefoot.
Same weight.
Touch more.
Fraction more.
Chance for Armstrong to come around the center guard and set two.
Should be there.
5.
Dustin Armstrong was born in Saskatoon
Lot of room.
in Canada, but
Coming down.
now lives in Perth.
Gotta go. Yep. Hard. Hard. Hard line.
Yep, all the way.
Hard, guys.
Not the first Canadian to have played curling for
Yep, that's good.
Australia.
Okay. Good. Just came off a hill on us.
Sideways there at the end. Threw a good Dustin.
Yeah,
It
weight
just
was
went
good.
sideways.
Yeah, no worries.
His guard just over curl, but he did still leave cover on top of that yellow. So Korea will just have to open this up now.
look at Lee Jung-chae. So stable,
Yep, yep.
coming out with that big weight. But again, just
So close.
exactly. Jammed the first one and runs the second one just past. That's always upsetting to be that close and not make it.
Yeah, you could go to just clear the front and open up the guard, but to actually go for the raise and be that close to it, you've still left a guard, but it's worth going for. So.
Quite often that in curling, though, you miss by a hair, it's a disaster. But if you miss big, sometimes it's okay.
If it's staying out there, we can take it back though too, eh?
Okay.
So it's the first chance really Australia now have in this game to put the pressure onto Korea. To come round and lie too guarded.
Speaking of Canadians, Jay Merchant as well from Coronation, Alberta in Canada.
Still. Is there some action?
9. Get off.
Whoa.
Yep.
This is hanging really high.
Yep.
Bump it. Plan B.
Plan B to try and tap this in.
Go. Whoa. Shot.
Well,
They kind of got away with that.
did mention if you're going to miss, you might as well miss big, and that was, I would say, a big miss, but a decent result for the Australians.
Nearly got it right under.
So we knew that.
Quite a lot of red stones in front for the Koreans to run in.
3분의 2 정도
Take your pick.
맞고 이렇게 쏘면 제일 좋기도 해. 1번 안 돼도 돼. 양! 양!
아니야.
정신아, 정신 동현아.
Across the top of both yellows. Might be setting up for a steal here for Australia. Haven't had too much going for them so far in the game. But now, finally able to put some pressure on the Koreans.
Right there.
It's tight, top 12. Even if we're tight.
Is that the same ice as last?
No.
No, a touch more.
Yeah, they're a bit conscious that his last stone hung out there wide.
Definitely going to be less weight here, so I'm hoping it curls a bit more, actually a lot more. I think it's there.
Okay.
5. I like it.
Where is it?
5. I
Pull
like
in.
it. Whoa.
Up front. Looks really heavy.
Maybe a little warmer. Oh,
heavy.
wow. Yeah, a little warmer. Right to it.
What do you want?
This is coming right in. They wanted it short.
Yep.
And that is a get out of jail free card for Korea.
Wow.
A chance to really tidy up. Leave that anywhere short, it's
Yeah, I know what you're
a huge problem for Kim So-hyuk and team. But now it's some big weight. You might be able to move all these 3 yellows and leave your shooter in behind cover. Could be a huge turnaround on this end.
Yeah, all for the sake of a guard.
Jong Byung-chin with the big shot here to save the end for Korea, and look at that. Gets 2 flying, punches the third one over to the 12-foot, sits fully buried edge of the button. Well, that shot was lined up for him, but it's made. And all of a sudden, Australia's good work spoiled.
Just back to that stone placement, you know, anywhere short there was causing a problem to Korea, but to come right in just opened the door for them.
Threw it before, so.
So again, down to Dean Hewitt to
90-95.
pull out a few tricks.
Yep.
Yeah, even if he freezes on top and lies second shot here, it's not a disaster.
Just for weights.
Wait only. Just lots of room, guys.
Big line
Lot of
so
room.
far.
Lot of room.
He took the same ice that he gave
Lot of room,
Lot of
guys.
room.
his third for his guard.
How deep? Oh, higher?
Yeah, where
Really
Merchant
high.
ended up
Yeah.
angle tapping a wide corner guard. And again, it's just hanging out there, maybe not swinging as much coming this way. We'll stay full in the open, top 8 foot as we jump on over to Chinese Taipei again, playing China, down by 4. Randy Shen.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Wonder,
whoa.
is this a
Brendan.
cheeky attempt at a double for 2? Seemed to be, but that's been thrown wide.
2.
And that, I believe, is a steal of 2 for China to make it a 7-1 game. Maybe didn't quite believe in that one, Randy Shen. China very much in control at the halfway point. And now it's Kim So-hyuk in our featured game. Looking for the takeout on this open yellow. Was hoping for a flop in behind, but this one's staying straight. Catch it on the nose.
Okay, good. Shot.
Maybe enough to sit 2. Hard to tell from here.
아, 진짜 많이 뻗어.
Yeah, pretty close. They're all having a look.
What do you think?
Do that again? Or is it?
Okay.
Is it?
Yep. This one moves more.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's the end's turned around. Australia will be happy to force one
Squeeze
here.
again. This one will move a fraction more.
He's taking the same ice
Still
again,
thinking.
though.
Fraction less.
Oh,
I think that's
no, he heard me. Take a wee bit less.
same weight.
Didn't even make it to the center line on the first one. I'm surprised they're not even taking less than that, but maybe Dean Hewitt feeling it was a slightly wide on the first throw.
Just for
Might
weights.
adjusted with the second. We'll see
Weight's
here.
good. 7. Over. Whoa.
We'll have to curl a bit.
Hanging, guys.
Off.
Hanging a lot.
Off.
Whoa, guys.
Hanging still.
Yeah, but it's on that red at the top of the house.
It's going to be nowhere close to making its way over. Slightly heavy maybe for weight, but you have to question the broom placement there.
Out a bit there,
Didn't
or
really take,
more weight.
well, I ended up taking too much ice, I believe, again. It was about
It's certainly,
a foot and a half from
certainly
making
straightening out a bit.
the shot in the first one.
It's really
lot
nice.
different.
Only took a few inches less ice.
So, it's really nice. So, it's just straightening out a bit.
근데 들어갑니다.
We'll see if Korea is able to master this this patch of ice better than the Australians. They've certainly taken less ice. But they're going to navigate past the guard and that Yellowstone top 12. Looking good to score 3 in the previous end. That was spoiled by Dean Hewitt. Now, very likely I'll get 3 on the board if So-hyuk has his draw weight in order.
Yep, he's got the line right. Has he got the weight, though?
Oh, that's going to slide right through the hole.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. It's just 2 for Korea. Another chance up in flames for So-hyuk. That is the halfway point. It is a 4-1 game in favor of Korea.
괜찮? 그거 없잖아. 오케이.
Korea, Australia. Playing the first end, just a blank. Moving on to the second, it's Kim So-hyuk with a chance to draw. Already lying one, and that would be for the second point. And an early lead. And the third end, again, Australia in trouble. Dean Hewitt trying to bail out his team with a nice draw. Steve Johns and Dustin Armstrong on the sweep, able to guide that stone to the button. And that is one for the Australians to keep in the game. Just down by 1 point then, through 3 ends of play. And this session 4 of the men's game. We'll see Hong Kong up 5-2 on Qatar. New Zealand is leading 7-5 playing Kazakhstan. China is up 7-1 on Chinese Taipei. Third session, right?
스위핑도 좋고 커뮤니케이션도 좋은데 조금 더 분위기를 올려 더 이렇게 하고 더 하이파이브 해주고. 예. 너 들어오 미스되는 거 신경 쓰지 마. 그냥 뭐 라스트라기 쉬운 게 어딨어. 그러니까 그런 걸 자꾸 너가 이제 성공률이 떨어지다 보니 그 신경 써서 그런 거 그냥 이 감각대로 해. 네. 괜찮아. 4대1이고 점수가 벌어졌으니까 원래 가던 대로 심플하게 이제 해. 네. 경진이 스텝 바꾸니까 더 많이 들어가잖아. 이거 스위핑. 예. 좋아. 네. 네.
6, 7, 8.
네.
뭐가 좀
그냥 칠라 그러다가
2점 주면 또 계속 타이트하게 가야 될 수 있어.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get to here. So that one, I will say that the tolerance on my second one was short.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's something that
Yeah, we
a little rushed in the head.
were
But
on
that's okay.
we're on a little bit early as
No,
well.
that's
so.
all right. Not that much, but so I was just a little bit rushed in the hack, but
Keep things moving, keep moving on with the speed, yeah.
Well, we're down to 3-minute ends.
Just taking a look at the stats, we see percentage-wise, teams are fairly even. But Korea certainly has had more going than the Australians. A couple of key shots here and there, though. No stolen points so far through 5 ends. We got 5 more in this interesting matchup here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2018.
앞에 세우자. 앞에.
아이 괜찮아. 웨이트 마.
라인 좋아.
8.
We are back on the ice. Korea, Australia. 6th end now of this 10-end game.
좀만 더 와줘. 좀만 더 와줘.
Korea up by 3. Scored 2 in that 5th end, where Australia seemed to have a steal set up. Just one slight miss by Jay Merchant. And then a beautiful shot by Jong Byung-chin, Korea's 3rd. Really changed that end around.
Three.
We'll see if Australia can get something going with the last stone advantage. Haven't quite done that yet. Haven't had too many chances either.
Not in. Not in.
No,
Yep,
good.
yep, yep, yep. Hard. Hurry. Whoa.
Looking for a corner guard, so just wants this to come off the center line.
Shot, buddy. Right turn.
How would you summarize those first 5 ends, Rona?
I would say Korea really dominated the first 4 of them. They put the pressure on to Australia, and Australia certainly had to lift some big shots. But then that 5th end, Australia were actually in control for most of it. As you said, one shot turned it around. So the scoreline's probably an accurate reflection of shot play so far. There's a really good guard there. Perfect setup from the lead. Top of the button and short.
Okay. Same track, really.
Yeah.
Not much different in weight. If you dust this.
Yeah.
What did I throw?
14.
A little more on that. Easy, easy, easy. Network. Off.
And Steve Johns is a good game, 95% so far in this game.
6, 7.
No line.
Trying to draw around his corner, but this is hanging really high at the moment.
Yep. Go. Yep. Go. Yep. Go. Okay.
That's okay.
Good.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Might just be nibbling the rings there. Korea not allowed to remove any of the L's though, or at least if they're both outside the rings and in the free guard zone. That's the difference with the 5-rock rule coming into play this season. Last season you could have removed that top yellow. Not allowed to do that yet here. So really giving the team with last stone a big advantage.
Just over curled there at the end. Australia will be able to see some of that stone now. See there, come down at a quiet weight, remove the red and roll behind their own cover.
Line's tight.
Yep. Yep.
Line's tight.
Yes!
Whoa.
Whoa!
Whoa. Yep. Yes.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Hard.
Shot.
Okay. Nice rock. Good. It was a bit more than board, eh? Came at the end. More like control on that. Yeah, that was a bit up, yeah. It's good though. Shot. Shot.
So didn't get the roll behind cover. Allows Korea now the chance to roll either way. Ideally they want to roll behind the reds.
Omar? Reach her up.
Oh, he's got a roll. Is it enough? Still see the edge of it. You really couldn't have swept that any earlier either to get a bigger roll because of the guards.
Got a 3-1-0.
Dustin Armstrong dropped his weight, just trying to get a hit and roll behind the corner. Just on the high side.
Okay.
Does remove it from play, but just.
Considered playing the double on the yellow guards here. Kim So-hyuk changes his mind. Wants to come around the reds. That port is almost a little bit tight for a draw, considering how much swing you get, how much finish. Almost going to have to come quite close to those yellows to not over curl your own red guard. And this one is hanging out there. Trying to sweep this. In the direction of the curl to make it finish a bit more. Chips off the yellow though. Makes its way to the center line. Slight nibble. Not terrible there.
It's a learning experience. Try that.
Sorry, I touched that.
You like the draw? I think we gotta come here. Yep. I threw it.
Yep, I like it. Yep.
Even if I'm here. I don't think it tracks as much here. Got a draw. You think it's like 80? It's kind of the shot you gave me here. Yeah.
Australia have got last stone here. They really want to try and get something going to
We're thinking,
generate a 2.
yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah. 90.
Mine's good.
Yeah, needs it, I think.
Where is it? 7.
Top ring. Let it
Oh,
work. Don't touch
looks
it.
heavy.
It's all there.
It's real heavy.
Back ring. It's a question on Barry.
I think it's here on its own. Whoa, 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 whoa,
Steve,
whoa, whoa, right up, Steve.
Oh, he's
This
got
is
a good
looking a bit steamy.
There we are.
Okay.
Okay, it's all
Draw.
right.
Oh, it does stay and it does lie short.
Yeah, but it's quite deep.
Is that his top ring?
Yeah, so.
That's
85.
going to allow Korea to follow it.
Wow.
Okay.
Maybe bury one around
That
those
was great.
3
Yeah, line
red
was
center
good. We got
guards.
an 85 on that. It
Yeah.
is quick ice out here tonight.
So this is when maybe the Koreans might time the shot that Merchant just played. Pick up some information, knowing they'll be playing the same path. Might have a better idea of what to throw for theirs. A little wider here though. Sweeping it deep, trying to bring it a bit closer to the yellow. That is fully in the open actually.
Has left Australia a chance now to get that inside roll.
Maybe following Jay Merchant. Got a little tricked. Perhaps some bit of difference in throwing. You have one player throwing it a little softer. All outside in.
That's okay.
Versus someone's a little inside out.
Just control.
We'll have a completely different path on the stone.
And also the releases for weight. The stopwatches are a guide, really. They're not exact science. Because some players will decelerate as they slide, some extend. So the splits will be slightly different.
Yep.
Whoa! Whoa! Roll it!
Yep. Shot. Good.
Gets a tiny roll there, Jay Merchant. He's able to duck a corner of the rock in behind.
Look at that. 317 another freaking inch. That's all I want.
Pretty good throw.
It was good, eh?
Yeah, that's a good third to a half under.
All right, well, I'm just going to get a glass of water.
사이드 너무 빼면 뻗을 수 있으니까 천천히 가자.
8번?
노범 절대 범. 노범. 잠깐만 천천히.
T-line.
얘들아 천천히.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. 열.
오.
Okay.
티라 열.
열.
오.
I'm just looking to freeze on top of this. It's hanging high at the moment. Here it comes.
안 되는 게 나을 것 같아. 오케이, 샷.
Line was probably perfect, just 2 feet too heavy. Didn't quite finish, but still in a pretty good spot for Taria. Hard to get to the inside here.
Not moving crazy. Just too late, right?
We've seen this side of the sheet run just a bit straighter, so really important to throw the correct weight here for Dean Hewitt.
Still think like 90 though?
Overthrow it. It's not going to move on you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if they could just half check on the inside of this red here and lie 2, it would be a great shot.
Essentially just a heavy draw.
Where? Yep. Fine.
See if it moves
Hot
more.
line.
The closer you get to the center line.
Well, this one's away already.
Come on, guys!
I think that was the case indeed. A little straighter, coming a little further out on the side of the sheet. As soon as you get to that 4-foot line, it grabs on and starts curling. So slightly tricky spot to maneuver.
Still curl.
But he wasn't playing that. Weight was perfect. Hey?
아, 너무 올라갈까?
Gives Korea the chance now, though, to
정주야. 아, 근데
tap this back, lie 2. If they could get to slightly the inside and they get the shooter to roll, it would cause a big problem.
야, 히트를 할 수 있어요. 근데 안으로 와도 그냥 바깥으로 확실하게 가자.
스테이도 괜찮겠다. 스테이까지 괜찮을 것 같아.
들어가는 게 좋을 것 같아. 히트 롤러.
바깥쪽 쓰면 애매하면 더블 안 나.
앞쪽이면 더 좋고.
오케이. 오케이, 오케이. 지금 건 바깥쪽이야.
He
안으로.
was looking at removing it completely
일단
from
스테이
play.
보고 돌면 안쪽까지 보자.
Try and bring the other red in, lie 3.
날아가기 쉽지 않을까?
아, 일단
But now they're
일본으로
just
써야
going to
돼.
raise it.
그게 더 우선인 것 같아.
Well, they can still
정상까지
see enough of
괜찮아.
it to do that.
괜찮아, 지금.
Are we slashing it or coming to the inside and keep the shooter? Guess we'll find out in a few seconds.
웨이 좋아.
기다려, 기다려. 아니야, 아니야.
플레이 하자, 플레이.
Something in between, ends up sitting 2. Tough double, even though they're quite close together for Dean Hewitt.
Well, if MD's going to make it in this game, it will be him. He's lifted quite a few.
That's the problem.
Get it that way.
Well, I think if we do it that way, that's jamming for sure.
Yeah.
So we either play this for one.
Skinnier.
I think you kind of have to,
try
don't
that.
you?
Yeah. I'm happy with it, Dean. I think you hit about there.
Yeah.
Hey? Kind of weight?
Normal?
Normal?
The thin double is there. The problem is you redirect off the first red.
Trying to hit it pretty thin.
Pretty much
Try and
catch
get
the
double.
top of the
Normal.
second. It might run it
Out
straight
there.
back onto the Yellowstone in the back of the 12-foot. And you're catching stones at an angle like this, there's a good chance your shooter might spin quite a lot if you don't catch it in the right spot. I've seen the houses be quite keen. You over curl by a fraction here, your shooter might spin out the side door.
But they are 2 down. Sorry, 3 down, so they could do with a 2 back.
Feeling it's worth the risk here. Dean Hewitt gets 1 and 2, but will jam in the back as we talked about. And the shooter does spin quite far out, well, not quite out the side door, but it is 2 for the Reds. Team Korea, another couple of points up on the board. And that is a 6-1 game now. after 6 ends. Very close to perfection by Dean Hewitt, but that was the risk.
Yeah.
Down 3.
That's all right.
야, 내 생각대로 할 거야. 좀 망설였어. 그냥.
근데 이렇게 좀 가까이 쓰는 게
아니 나도 플랜 B를 봤었어.
They're shooting
No
first.
doubt.
Me-
Nick Buck's still
They started to run the yellow clock.
Still not going.
If anyone has
여덟.
오케이, 8.
정신아, 라인 좋아?
왜 좋아요?
탑버튼.
오케이.
괜찮아.
First rock for Korea lands just slightly in the back of the forefoot. They're quite happy to bring the stones into play, into the house. As they're up by quite a few points now.
3 on its own.
The defensive approach coming into the house.
3, 4.
The aggressive approach throwing the guard. It doesn't quite sound that way, but that's the way it is, isn't it, Rona?
It is. And Australia really don't want to be putting stones in the house right now. They need cover out front.
Yeah, mistake there by Steve Johns, not being able to take advantage of the free guard zone. Slipping into the rings, allowing Korea to make a play on the yellow. The only good part though for Rona is we now have the 5 rock rule, which means Steve Johns will get a second chance to throw a corner guard in the free guard zone. Or better yet, a bit of a miss from Korea. Even though that's nibbling the rings, that could very well be used by Australia to come around.
Yeah, they can go to the other side, so it means they've got one of their own corner guard, but they can still use that red as a corner.
Yep.
So that's better. He's adjusted that well.
Shot, Steve.
Shot, Steve. Shot, buddy.
Taking a look elsewhere in the arena. Hong Kong is up 8-2 on Qatar. New Zealand, close fought game against Kazakhstan, 7-6. China very much in the lead, 7-2 still over Chinese Taipei. Kazakhstan seeming to improve
좀 더 있어 보여.
quite a bit. It's had a good week so far. Almost caused an upset against Australia. Dean Hewitt having to play
붙이면 좋아.
his final stone in the 10th end for the win.
Shot.
Preston Armstrong's just been asked to freeze the Reds in the house. I know, and then he's changed his mind and he's going to draw around the corner.
Start to move. Yep. Whoa, you can overbend.
They were looking at the Reds, and because it was on the button, they didn't really have to move it. They could just have frozen it. But great draw around the corner guard.
Down, Peel.
동영아.
Okay, just quite happy to peel off the corner guard.
Early release, 28. There you go. That's a 1.
We're good. Gotta go.
You hear the numbers being called. Steve John saying 1. Now Dean Hewitt saying 2.
More bend. Yep.
What do those numbers mean?
Easy, save it.
So it's a guide. As soon as the players release the stone, the sweepers have got their stopwatches. They can shout up to the skip what weight's been played. So 1 is just over the hog line, 2's kind of halfway to the house, and 3's just close of the rings. So it just gives them an indication of where it is, so that they can judge whether they need to sweep for line and weight, or both, or either. But all that work, and it's soon wasted when the opposition just peel away the guards. It gets very demoralising when you're trying to fight back and the opposition just keep peeling.
Try that. So 4? Yeah. That's the all there. 3, 4.
Looking to replace the guard.
Come
I
down.
said 1, 2, and 3 would be
Back here,
the free guard zone. 4 would be just in the house.
We're back here, guys.
And this is definitely a bit further than 4. That's 4. And there's a 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and a 10, really. Very.
Far out.
Yeah, they're
Very
looking
off.
for a 2 there.
Yeah.
So big difference.
Like a back guard.
There you go, a back guard.
And Swiss on.
And true, that is true. And Swisselm's term that, the back guard. Not really protecting the stone from the back too much here, though. A double very much on for Korea. And There you go, 1-2. And Korea sitting 4. 3 stones left for Australia to make something happen here.
좀 경직된 느낌? 아, 좀 더 밝게 해도 될 것 같은데? 이기고 있잖아.
What's the thinking here?
Help. Yeah, basically Australia are 5 down, they're lying 4 against. There's not really an easy shot for them to try and generate here. All they can do is freeze the reds in the 4-foot and hope for an error from Korea.
Line only.
Where is it?
Probably wouldn't mind a little tap here as well.
To it, just to it.
This is this path. They struggled with the line 2 ends ago.
Yes!
This one looks better though.
Come on! Yes, 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 yes!
For line to sweep. All right.
Got the line right, just the weight was slightly out there.
Certainly could have afforded to get a little tap there to rattle the reds and sit frozen. While Korea discuss their next shot, will jump on over to Chinese Taipei, playing China. Suzhou with his last stone here. Seems like they're lying 1, and this would be a draw for 2. Could be the last stone of the game. Already a 5-5. Sweepers kind of backing off this one. Now back on. Looking pretty happy with it actually. As it will enter the 4-foot, and that is 2 points for China. And as expected, that will be the last of it. Randy Shen and team will concede this game after 7 ends. Just couldn't quite get the ball rolling on China. And it's a very strong performance by the Chinese this evening. 9-2 final score.
2 yellow.
Kim So-hyuk on our sheet, just trying to pick off this yellow clean. Gets contact, but just barely. Can't move it out of the house. That sets for 3rd shot. So still a lifeline for the Australians.
Australia want to make sure that they capitalise now on that error. Korea haven't made very many errors in this game at all. So can Dean Hewitt, it's important here for his shooter to stay frozen on that red. He'll remove the back red and just stay frozen. And then it makes it very difficult for Korea to remove.
Steve.
Right off.
Right off.
Right off.
Control.
More weight this time.
Come on, baby.
Maybe a tad too much.
No roll, whoa!
It's gonna roll right off. Didn't have to throw that hard, I feel.
More important that that shooter stayed frozen on top of the red. They know that's been running straighter tonight down there.
Certainly needed to keep the shooter in the house somewhere.
There.
Yeah.
Hey?
Go pretty straight on you there.
Yeah.
We'll probably just nose it, yeah.
I reckon, yeah.
Regardless.
I like it.
저기서 붙여줘.
Just hits that yellow Australian stone, so Dean Hewitt faces 3 counters now. Forced to take his one, but he has to make his one.
Certainly a must make for Dean Hewitt. 7th in here. Can't afford a bigger deficit.
Whoa, Steve.
And there already is in this game. This one running a bit straight, trying to make its way over. Does roll, but how far? Just enough to stay in the 12th hit for 1 point. Australia still in this one.
Yeah, well,
But it's a 6-2 game
clean.
for Korea.
Okay. 3 ends, 4 points.
Yeah. Both sides kind of all in, eh?
블랭크가 제일 좋아.
네. 사이드로. 사이드로.
센터 가드, 투 가드 칠 거야.
Coming down. Sit down. Sit down. Smart now. Okay.
컨트롤.
7 ends played. Korea, Australia, and the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2018 here in the Gangneung Curling Center. You're listening to myself, Sander Ulvåg, and I'm joined by Rona Howie. 4-point lead for the Koreans. Is it all smooth sailing from here on in?
Well, when Australia put their guard in the rings at the start of this end, it's not a good omen for them to go for the steal, but they will keep trying. But there's still 3 ends to play, so anything's possible.
2-3. 2-3.
Yes, clean it. Clean it.
I think it's there.
The 5-rock rule certainly helps in coming back into games, but of course that means you need the last on advantage to get there. So they're going to have to force either a score from Korea
Shot, Steve.
Real nice. Nice one,
or
buddy.
just steal their way home. It's a bit of a mountain to climb either way.
It is against this Korean team. They've been pretty strong all night. They haven't given many opportunities.
You see the comparison here. Lee Dong-hyung with an 11% advantage on Steve Jones. Haven't made many mistakes so far.
Steve had his stats were up at what, 95 in the first half of the game, so he's dropped down quite considerably. That's a lovely draw round. See, and this is where Australia now are having to, they're coming into the house. They've only got 1 guard out front.
No clock. Looks heavy.
8. 8.
Close.
Coming down.
Yep.
7.
Yep. Oh, I just picked. Yep. All the way, guys. All the way. I just caught something. Yeah. Right about the sea in Pacific Asia. Okay, you threw it good.
A pick up there.
Yes, he's concerned about a certain part of the ice. I don't know if there's just maybe a flat patch. He said at the sea in the writing, where it says Pacific Asia, it looks as though as soon as the stone comes to the sea, it's going sideways a wee bit. So it's maybe just a flat spot rather than picking up any debris.
Or maybe just the debris was by the sea in the Pacific.
Maybe. The dot had come off the eye beside it and caused it. Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah, there's sometimes some debris. It doesn't take much. It could be a strand of hair, piece of rubber from their shoes, something.
You got it.
I think usually that will come from one of the players. The ice surface itself is very neat and very clean at the start of the game, and it's mopped at halftime as well to pick up any debris.
2-3.
Yeah.
See Dustin Armstrong
Try and get it tight, guys.
putting up a good fight here against his Korean counterpart.
Shot.
Gets the center guard in place. Although these Koreans will not make many mistakes on the single peels.
Yeah, makes that look easy. Korea are 4 up with the hammer. They just want to keep the house clear in the front so that
have to move them, but it's still
they don't lose anything here. But they're so far up in the game, they don't need to score either.
so like a 3.
Okay.
We're thinking like 4.
Yeah, that's what he just threw.
Little bit.
Yeah.
Mine's ahead time.
95.
3. Oh, then.
2-3. Check.
Just
Check.
Here. Just here, guys. Just here. Whoa. Whoa. Gotta sit. Gotta sit.
Whoa.
All right.
Just too far. And this is where we say that when you've got last stone and you want to generate a 2, you put up your corner guards, but here Korea haven't. And people will say, well, why not? You say they put up a corner guard to score, but because they're so far up in the game, they don't really need to score points. They just want to keep things clean when they've got last stone.
Yeah, if anything, they can afford to just score a 1 point. Make sure they have the chance to do so. Looking for the double off their own here. Doesn't quite get that second yellow. The Reds roll to a neat spot. There's no guards in front for Australia. Not too many places to hide.
Like a little last, please.
Same as last. Line's good.
More.
Touch more.
Whoa.
Snare in stone. Oh, then.
Off, Steve. Don't want
Stay
you
close to the line, though. It is digging. Yep.
Yep.
Gotta go.
Yep.
Hard.
Yes. Hot, guys.
Hard.
That's so light.
Yep.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
They're looking to come in and just half check the red and the 4-foot.
Grab something.
Came up short. The last time they were looking for a guard and he came in back ring, so he's getting his weights a bit reversed tonight.
Okay.
Pretty much guard being thrown here by Team Korea. On line with their shot stone. Even if they corner freeze their top red here, it'd be pretty good if they can angle those reds onto the yellow on the wing.
동영아 붙이자. 돌려라. 동영아 돌려하자. 동영아.
붙으면 괜찮아. 붙으면 괜찮아.
Just a little bit deep here. Comes down onto the shot stone. Might leave a double for Australia to sit 2. So a couple of mistakes from both teams so far on this end. Meanwhile, let's jump on over to New Zealand, Kazakhstan. It was a lovely freeze played by Shojbai here. Scott Becker, skip of New Zealand, wasn't quite able to peel it off. So this is an open hit for 2. And it's made. I believe that second stone is nibbling the rings. After 8 ends played, it is 10-8 for New Zealand.
Good shot. Nice one, buddy.
Meanwhile, Dean Hewitt, the doubling machine of today, has just played another double.
That is pretty good.
얼마나 보여?
바보예요.
어?
바보예요. 공간 없지? 살짝까지 있어.
Only benefit for Korea here is the red's very close to that yellow to raise up.
Clip it out.
Something like top 8. Yeah. I feel like the shooter's still around somewhere.
Quite a difference in the skips percentages today, though.
Yeah, Dean Hewitt's made some good doubles here and there. The draws just haven't been quite on form for him. Kim Soyuk has been overall pretty steady so far through 7 ends. See what he can produce here. Looking for a short run back. Red onto yellow. Didn't want to spill it too far, but he has. Australia still with shot stone. Well, looking to come around the red top 12 here.
You like that ice?
Saw the point.
Yeah, I think so.
The spot that Jay Merchant was
What are you thinking, 90?
tapping his brush might not be the best spot. There is potentially a run double on that red stone on the left of our screen. So you might want to keep it a little deeper, a little higher. Not leave a perfect pocket for that shot.
It's not there, I think, Heck.
Yeah.
This is that
Looks
same
up.
line, though.
Looks up.
Struggled a bit with draw weight in this game. Dean Hewitt.
You know, back. T plus.
Sweepers calling this one heavy out his hand.
Back, not open on the button. We'd probably be better back a little.
Yeah, it is.
Is it going to
Still
dig
not- I
in?
don't want to be too deep, but,
Definitely want to sit 2.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Good, good, good.
nice.
Good,
Good spot.
good.
That they will.
Pulls out his back in. Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Deep feet heavy.
Okay.
Shot. Move nicely in there.
Yeah.
Korea will be happy now that they've really got this draw for 2 against 2 that is more open. If that stone had stayed top of the tee, it would have been slightly harder.
Last stone, the 8th end. Needs to forfeit here, Kim So-hyuk, to keep in control. A miss here could bring Australia right back in the game.
얘들아 확실하게 죽여서 들어가.
Sweepers on it at the start now, letting off, wanting this to settle down. And it's always a good sign when they start lightly brushing at the end. This one will stop right in the forefoot. That is 1 point for Korea. They will lead this game 7-2 After 8 ends of play, we have 2 more coming your way.
So, do we go super aggressive and two corners and draw them behind?
Oh yeah.
약하게 잡아 더 됐는데.
예, 지금 딱 좋아요.
미쳐나왔어.
이게 9번. 이렇게 하면은 아무리 좀 약해도 0번까지 나와도 처음부터 딱 보면 이렇게 나와.
조금 많이 한 느낌인데.
T 열.
아 죽여봐.
좀 줄일게요.
뒤로 와. T 뒤로 와.
아니에요, 괜찮아요.
T 뒤로 봐 오지 마. 아, 탑퍼트.
샷.
좀 많이 하고 놀랬어.
That is the score. 7-2
Three.
for Team Korea playing Team Australia here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships.
Clean.
3 ends.
I think you can. Yep. I think you can. Yep.
2 ends rather left to play.
Okay. Great shot, Steve.
That's Steve, real nice.
Of course, an extra end might come into play, but Australia is going to have to
Dandy.
play very well. They're going to have to hope for a few mistakes from their counterpart as well.
조금 타이트한데.
7, 8.
8.
7,
라인
8.
좋아.
8.
영진아 라인 더 안 잡아도 될 것 같아.
웨이트 가야 돼요.
그럼 와줘. 라인 좋아.
가는데 명진 라인 좋아.
와. 그다음 위쪽으로 보자.
Two great stones there.
저 제대로 안 돌아갔어. 대전이 없어.
야, 민준아, 우리 끝나고.
I believe you could hear Australia say that we're going to play super aggressive and that short break between the ends,
Over and stop. It's over bending.
meaning they'll just throw the kitchen sink at
that
it,
actually gained hand.
get all the rocks in play.
Okay.
It's all about winning or losing in curling. It doesn't really matter how many points you lose by.
Absolutely.
Might as
Doesn't
well.
matter whether it's you lose by 1 or you lose by 10.
No, just go for it.
Shot, Steve.
You've got to go for it now. Korea haven't made a huge number of errors tonight, but they have to try and force something.
Definitely try to clutter it up, might help. Now we're again
라인 괜찮아.
see that change in the free guard zone rule. Korea, without any doubt, they would
우영아.
go up and peel one of those corner guards, but not allowed to do that. So a guard is played instead. So because of that 5 rock rule, quite often you'll get 5 rocks in play quite early, even though there's a big gap in the game. Korea just putting lots of stones along the center line for Australia to work with. Seems like they might be ignoring them still.
4-0.
If you just come around the corner, we're going to have a big demolition job later on, though.
Hey, you can go
Gotta go
now.
for weight.
Yep. Gotta go. Gotta go.
Come on, guys. Barry, hard.
Gotta go.
Hard, guys. All the way. Hard, 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 hard. Hard.
Good finish.
All the way, all the way.
Right. Good.
Good sweep.
Josh. Andy.
Yeah, at some point, Australia are going to have to move these ones in the centre line.
앞에 거부터는요?
그냥 아니 이거는 위에 거는 칠 필요가 없어. 너무 롱가드라서 치려면 이거 치는 게 나아.
괜찮을
그냥 이거.
것 같은데.
And
많이 보일 것
Korea's
같은데.
head, they're 5 up in the game. Even if they lost a 2 here, it's not a disaster. Going into the last end, they'll be 3 up with a hammer, so they just don't need to do anything too clever. Just keep it clean, keep it simple.
A little bit surprised by this call. Just calling hack weight to try and get to the shot stone.
해고 펌퍼. 확실해
Feel
이거
like you might
펌퍼야.
be tempted to throw a bigger weight, maybe just peel the corner guard.
그만 더 가자,
동현아 좀 더 와. 슈터 가져.
But of course the shot is made perfect.
슛.
Yeah, it was a great shot. Again, they don't need to be too clever and cute with the weights. It's just a case of clearing any yellow granite out the way so Australia can't use it.
Still just coming straight around the corner.
7, 8, 8, 9.
All there. You looking for another shot?
Coming down a lot.
Is it? Where are we at? Yep. Oh, pick. Sorry.
Oh, that is
Over. Do you want it over?
No, we
quite
don't want it over.
a solid pickup from Team Australia there. A little bit unlucky
Now, this makes things interesting.
being kicked while they're down. You could see that just picking up some debris, losing all its rotation and momentum. And that ends up stopping on the center line, actually protecting the red stones. And you can look at the face of Kim So-hyuk. What do we do now?
Yeah, he wasn't quite expecting that. So what do we do? That's not in the tactical plan.
펌도 괜찮아.
Tempting to just throw another guard.
이거 좀 상대가 해야 될 것
Thinking,
같은데.
well, Australia's going to have to do quite a lot to tidy this up now. And Dean Hewitt can't do anything but laugh in the background there. Laughing at their own misfortune.
네, 다섯. 네,
잠시만.
다섯.
는.
라인만요, 라인만.
는. 정재야.
Let's
정재야.
take a look over on sheet C, New Zealand playing Kazakhstan. Scott Becker with the last stone here.
Whoa.
A couple of yellows in
Whoa, whoa.
the 8-foot.
Yep.
Looking to make the double, I believe. 1 and 2. Look at them go. Beautiful shot by Scott Becker, and that looks to be at least 3, maybe 4.
Thank you.
And that is enough for Team Kazakhstan. They concede, not sure how many points we get up on the board there in the end. It's either a 3 or a 4, but what is for sure, New Zealand will pick up the win. 4 points confirmed, Finn, a 14-8 final score. High scoring game out there this evening. And that leaves just this one game left in the Gangneung Curling Center.
Yep. Whoa.
Run back by Jay Merchant, gets everything going. Certainly helps.
Certainly opens things up for them. It was needed.
Be on the highlight reel. We needed it.
Yep. Whoa.
Very good shot. And we won't see this too often. Jay Merchant trying to open things up, and then Korea right after doing the same.
Yeah, both teams doing it for different reasons.
와, 잘 들어. 되게 롱가드였는데 잘 날아갔어.
Might be a triple on here.
이럴 줄 알았으면 4대를.
If you feel like the game's not going your way,
About the best we can do is
may want to end with a bang.
it'll be normal up.
Get a few shots into the highlight reel.
They're just not going to leave much though in the way of a trickier shot for Korea. It's going to be more open. They could come in and play a dead freeze here or a bump to make it harder.
Could
But as you say, when things aren't going your way, well,
Could make the double here and spin the shooter in behind cover. 1-2, roll up and under, but it will roll a bit too far. And will just had to catch that a fraction thinner to roll a bit less. Very similar to what we saw Dean Hewitt do some ends back. Just rolling a bit too far.
Close, eh?
Yeah.
Felt really nice
Cleaned it up.
coming out.
Cleaned it up quite a lot.
Didn't really have.
See the action here. 1, 2, and 3.
Choice, eh?
Close to getting all 3 reds and keep the shooter in behind cover.
but the story of the game for them, really.
A little room to move now.
So close, but yet
She's
so
getting
far.
A bit congested.
라인 좋아. 와도 돼. 7. 워. 7. 램. 이제 7. 확실해. 와. 동영이가.
라인 좋아.
여기만 와.
동영아.
뒤로 오지 마. 여기야, 여기.
동영아. 안쪽만 막아줘. 동영아 계속 가줘.
안에만 안 보이면 돼.
안쪽 막아야 돼. 안쪽 막아야 돼.
굿샷.
Nice drop by Kim So-hyuk. Only 2 stones left for Australia. Dean Hewitt's going to have to score a few points on his own here. Skips deuce as requested. Even that might keep them too far behind in this game.
Line's tight. Where's the weight? Forward.
Tiny hit and roll required.
Here it comes.
Forward.
Might have overcooked this one.
Okay.
Catch at the center line side there. It's going to be a sitting duck for Korea. Easy to get to.
Big sigh. Resigned himself to the fact that they're not going to get their big end here that they'd hoped for.
Yep. Hard.
Korea really trying to not jam this. Oh, hits and rolls off it.
Yeah, gets away with it.
들어갔어?
들어왔어. I told the ring's gonna be
pray.
out.
You go to church.
Play the hit.
Yeah, let's give that a go.
What's the weight call?
Control.
Okay. Nose hit. Troll. Control. Yep. Control up. Yep. Hard.
Last on 9th end.
Hurry.
Dean Hewitt looking for the open hit to score 1 here. Will over curl, but there might be a catcher At the back here, there will be 2 catchers, in fact, and that is just enough for a single point for Australia.
Hey?
Close to blank there. Board weight
They'll
blank.
be
After looking at what
4 down.
논다 생각이 하니까.
That's a 7-3 lead for Korea before the final end.
두개 날려. 날리는 게 아니고 두개 날릴래? 두개 날리고 그냥 피피피피 하면 돼. 하다 보면 끝날 것 같아. Okay. Yeah.
It was a good day.
Yeah, see what we can do.
Make him earn it.
Go to one first and
Yeah.
Whatever you want, either or, eh?
Okay. You're throwing it. Your call.
it's there. It's there. It's there.
Just over.
It's there. It's there. Okay, Steve.
Great shot.
It's great a bit. Oh, just lose his handle. Shot.
우리가 짧게 잡았어. 안 맞아도 돼.
Hey.
백.
Heck down! Heck down!
연.
Centre guard up by Australia. Team Korea will attempt a tick shot here.
좋아, 좋아, 좋아. 돼지라 좀.
Good chance for Lee Dong-hyung to practice this shot. Could be quite important to be able to make later on in the week, especially in the playoffs if they get there. This one just over curls. Thinking here as you're not allowed to remove that stone from play, but you can neutralize it, move it to the side, try and make a split essentially, keep that center open for the skip.
1, 2.
As Korea is just focusing on
Yeah, we're all there. We're all there.
making sure they have a chance to score.
We're there. Line only. We're over.
For Australia, they need to steal 4. Tall
You
task.
want to go for line?
Very.
It's good.
Might have considered throwing corner guards here,
Great shot.
the Australians, just to try and load the wings and
Get
hope
more
for
separation between guards as well to
yeah.
not allow Korea to lift a double.
But even with that, it's pretty tough to be able to lie for even.
똑같아, 웨이.
Another
똑같아.
tick shot, soft peel attempt by
아, 이거 정타 안 돼.
Lee Dong-hyung. Just across the nose this time. Double tap. Where does this one go?
Well, it's staying in.
That's not a great result for Korea.
정아 첫 번째 괜찮았어.
Leaves 2 center guards and Yellowstone in the house. That's pretty much all that Australia could hope for.
Fighting 4?
Sure.
Top break. Got it.
It's got good.
4. Lots of line. Lots of line. Got it.
Plenty of room.
Lots of
Plenty of
room.
room, guys.
This
go,
one
gotta
really
go.
needing to dig in.
Gotta go. Hard, 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 hard.
Not going to get there. Surprising. Had lots of room.
Stay quick here, guys.
Didn't have to be that far away from the guard. Really wanted to actually tuck around the yellow guard there, not the red one.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, whoa.
Korea just staying patient here, I think. Just peeling one guard at a time should do. Hoping for the second one, but should be enough. Peel one at a time. Should win this game.
Yep, it's just an elimination game now for Korea. Get rid of all the yellow stones that are in the way.
Yep, that's a 1.
Australia down to 1 minute 28 on the clock, so they're not overly generous in their time, but they know what they're going to have to do. So I don't think there'll be much decision making needed.
Yeah, hard for
Pretty
the line, guys.
straightforward.
Hard for the line. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
Nice rock. Okay.
Just on the clock would be ready golf.
Good call.
Unless you want to do something different there.
Well, I might as well head down then.
Yeah, come on. Good shot.
So I'll go for a
Probably
walk.
have to come in, don't you think?
Huh?
The Australians
Okay.
recognizing that
Sorry?
there's not much time left on the clock. You don't want to be that team that runs out of time and loses the game that way. Has happened though. And a deja
Exactly
vu
the
for
same,
Team Korea.
yeah.
Yeah, Jung Byung-chin very close to making the double twice in a row.
Weights there. 5, 6. Well then, room. Looks heavy.
Please.
Staying really straight.
What else we got?
Little bump. Yep. 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 Yep.
I'm just going to tap their own up here.
All the way, all the way.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, they do have 3 counters in.
Good plan B.
Yeah, it was an option, right?
핫!
Right there.
백홈 별로죠? 나쁘지 않아. 자, 열어. 그냥
I think if you're Korea, you would just really rip the guard, wouldn't you, here? You don't need to be too clever. Just get the guard away.
응? 아, 그냥 하나만 이쪽으로 볼게. 옆! 옆! 도현아, 와야 돼! 계속 와, 계속 와. 가자.
For the time being, Australia has a chance to lie for.
상대 돌이 3개 들어와 있어. 이제 정리해야 될 것 같아.
이제 정리하면
If no double is made by Korea, Kim So-hyuk will have to make his last shot. And we had a few
4,
pickups
5.
in this game.
Well then,
It's there. It's there.
gotta
it's
be up
there.
high.
Yeah,
Check.
but I'm not
Gotta
losing
be
it.
up high, guys.
Check.
Yeah, it's there. It's really heavy. Yeah, 4, 5. We're
And they're
to it,
coming
to it,
over
we're
that
to it.
sea in Pacific, but it was okay that
Little
time.
tap. Yep. Yep. Yes. Come on. Lost it. Bounce. Okay.
You would think there might be a double on
Okay,
this
Jay.
time.
All right, buddy.
오, 오,
Okay.
오, 오, 헤이.
Yep.
Yep.
Will.
오, 오, 오.
Very nicely played by Jung Byung-chin.
자,
That probably seals it
Yeah,
for
let's
Korea.
do that. Let's just freeze. Yeah. They're gonna have an open hit
Yeah, the
regardless.
open one, but
So hopefully they jam into it.
yeah.
We're going to need some help on the next one. So.
And they're going to need some help on all remaining rocks.
Right there.
5, 6.
Have a look.
Playing the freeze,
Room,
the redstone
guys.
in the 4-foot.
Lots of room.
I'm sure
Great.
Kim So-hyuk will just peel any available Yellowstone.
Bring it here then. Steve.
9.
Yep. Go.
It's high of line,
Go, go, go.
so trying to bring it round it now. Oh, in between.
All right.
Might as well just peel the stone that's fully open.
Well, we needed some help anyways on this next one. So.
Oh,
Yep, Australia have only got 1 stone left to come. So if this one gets removed, they don't have enough.
So the only possibility is they jam.
Yeah, they need 4 for the tie and the extra end. Seeming very unlikely at this point. Kim So-hyuk with quite possibly the last stone of the game. Nail in the coffin for Australia. Just remove 1 yellow stone here. And that's a W on the board for Team Republic of Korea. And they are victorious here in the Gangneung Curling Center. 7-3 final score. Strong performance by the Koreans. Australia have a few things to work out.
That's all right.
Seventh end, 3 red stones in the house. Dean Hewitt having to make the open hit to score a single point. Just curls enough. And it will hang on for a point. And so will Australia in this game. In the 8th, it's Kim So-hyuk to face a couple of Australian counters. Needing to make the draw to the 8-foot. Better yet, makes the 4-foot. A single point for the Koreans, still in the lead. Dean Hewitt.
Control.
Can only score a single point in the 9th end with this last stone. Again, just enough. And Korea would run them out of stones. In the 10th end, final score, 7-3. Here are all the scores this evening in the Gangneung Curling Center. Hong Kong beat Qatar 13-3. We had New Zealand winning 14-8 over Kazakhstan. Also China with a win 9-2 playing Chinese Taipei. And that's the men's standings now after 3 sessions. China and Japan on top, undefeated. Hong Kong, Korea at 2-1. We have New Zealand, Chinese Taipei at 1-1. Australia at 1-2. Kazakhstan and Qatar round out the standings at 0-3. We have an interview ready with Rona Howie.
Many congratulations. What gave you and your team the advantage over Australia tonight?
오늘 호주 팀이랑 한 경기에서 그 이긴 거에 어떤 이점이 있었던 부분이 있었는지.
일단 이겨서 기쁜데 좀 팀워크나 이렇게 샷들을 맞춰가는 시간들이었던 것 같아요. 그냥 다행이었고 앞으로 더 좋은 경기력을 나타낼 수 있도록 했던 경기였던 것 같아요.
From this game, they tried to focus on each shot, and then they are so happy to win this game, and then they will try to do their best after this game also. Yep.
How does it feel to play in this fantastic Olympic facility?
이 올림픽 경기장에서 경기를 해보는 기분이 어떠신지.
올림픽 때 경기를 했었어야 되는데 지금 PACC라서 그래도 기쁘긴 한데 기분도 좋고 또 그 열광이 아직도 남아 있는 것 같아서.
He should have played during the Olympics, but he couldn't. So he's a bit like feel very strange, and he thinks that like he didn't expect that many spectators. So, but there are so many spectators. What he didn't expect. So he's happy to see that one.
Thank you very much.
And that is it for the curling action here in the Gangneung Curling Center today at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2018.